Okay, so let's talk about the leading coefficient. The first coefficient once in standard form is the leading coefficient, okay? So then let's talk about a constant. It's the term without a variable. So a leading coefficient, here's an example of a leading coefficient. Let's say it's in standard form, and let's say it's something like this. This 2, because it's the highest degree, that coefficient in front of it is called a leading coefficient. Okay, it's a constant here. The constant would be the number without a variable, so the 10 in this situation. So leading coefficient would be the 2, and the constant would be the 10. Okay, so let's do some examples, and let's put A in standard form. So you look for the highest degree. So let's see, I see a 4. So you take that negative 3x to the 4th. Okay, so then you go to the next one. Do we have a third? And we do. Plus 12x to the 3rd. Then go down to 2. Do we have an exponent of 2? Yes, we do. And then your constant would be negative 4. So now, think about degree. What is your highest degree here? Well, your highest degree would be 4. And what do we call a degree of 4? Well, remember this chart that we did over here? What's x to the 4th? It's called a quartic. So think quartic. And what is the leading coefficient? Well, the leading coefficient would be the number in front of the highest degree. So leading coefficient would be negative 3. And what would the constant be? Well, it's the number without the variable. So it would be negative 4. Okay, and now I can go ahead and color code the degree too, so we can all see it. Okay, let's look at B. Okay, first let's write in the standard form. So the highest degree would be this negative x and plus 3. Okay, let's look at the degree. Well, what is your highest degree here? Well, what is considered there? If there's nothing there, it's considered in 1. So your highest degree is 1. Well, what do we call, I'll go back and look at that chart. What do we call a degree of 1? Right here, linear. So that degree would be linear. Okay, what's your leading coefficient? Would be the coefficient in front of that leading degree, and that would be a negative 1. And your constant is going to be without a variable. So your constant in this example is 3. Okay, flip over to the back. Okay, let's put it all together. So we can classify polynomials by their degree and the number of terms. Okay, so let's look at example 1. How many terms do we have here? Well, we just have a number 12. So we have a one term. Okay, and so now let's talk about what does it mean to have number of terms? Well, there's a couple that we have. If there's one term, it's called a monomial. Mono, one. Okay. What is the degree here? Well, we don't have a variable, so we have no degree. So our degree is 0, and we're going to put them all together. What does, because I'll just write this to remind you, there's no variable. Okay, so we put them together. So what's the name? Okay, well, we name it by the degree. So it's a 0. So go back and look at the chart. So it's constant. And then we name it by the number of terms. Well, we had one term, so it's called a constant monomial. Okay, let's keep going on and maybe that we can get a hang of this. This is monomial. I spelled that wrong. Fix that. Okay, so the next one, let's look at this. How many terms do we have here? We have one term. So again, one term means monomial. I keep spelling monomial wrong. Let's try this again. Monomial. Okay, did I do it on this one too? Monomial, I think I spelled that one right. Okay, and so what is the degree here? Well, the degree is 1. So we have a degree of 1. Go back and look at your chart. That has, so it's called a linear monomial. So linear monomial. Okay, look at this one. So how many terms do we have? We have 1, 2 terms. So we call a two-term a binomial. Okay, like a bicycle, 2 wheels. Think of it like that. So now, what is your degree? What is your highest degree here? 2. So what do we say? Look back at your chart. We said 2 was a quadratic binomial. Okay, so let's go pause real quick. Let's go back here. And so classifying, let's go back to your pink sheet. Let's say, let's go ahead and write number of terms. And we'll do one term. It's called a monomial. 2 terms. Binomial. 3 terms is a, like think a tricycle, trinomial. Okay, so any more than that, so if you have 4, 5, or 6, it's going to be named something like this. It's just going to be named a polynomial. Okay? So if you see something that has 4 terms in, like, let's say the highest degree is like x to the 4th, you would say it's a quartic polynomial. Okay?